Hi Manoj, good afternoon. Are we good to start?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So, good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of State Bank of India and the State Bank Institute of Leadership, I warmly welcome you to this third edition of SBIL Spotlight. My name is Swati Sengupta. I'm a faculty with the State Bank Institute of Leadership and the moderator for the program. For those of you who are old timers and the newcomers here, I wish you all a very happy new year from the State Bank Group. Before starting the main program, a couple of quick housekeeping points. This event is being telecast live on MS Teams as well as on SBI's Facebook and YouTube channels. So in case some of your friends miss this program, you can always share the links of the YouTube and Facebook channels where they will be there after the event as well. The session should last an hour, so we should be able to wrap up by 2 p.m. Give or take a few minutes. For those of you who have joined here on Microsoft Teams, I would request you to please keep your mics on mute and cameras in the off mode. Otherwise, we might get a little disturbance. And if you do wish to ask questions, please or share comments on how if you have any comments on the proceedings, please feel free to type them in the chat box. And if there are questions, I'll try and see if we can include those in the program. Several of you have already sent in your questions during the registration. So we will be asking our speakers to address as many of those questions as we can within the time. Also, in case there is a drop in connectivity for whatever reason, after all, this is technology, please be patient. Thank you. So for those of you who are joining us for the first time today, I would like to share with you the genesis of SBIL Spotlight. Sometime in the middle of the lockdown, early September 2020, we found ourselves within SBIL brainstorming on various ways we could reach our participants. And in the process of reworking our erstwhile classroom programs to make them available online, we realized that the pandemic has actually rendered two great positives in the area of learning and development. Much like it has broken the walls of the traditional classroom and could now welcome trainees from beyond boundaries, we realized that we could also do the same thing for faculty who can now be from any corner of the globe. And it is with this intent that SBIL Spotlight was born. The objective is to invite and draw upon the vast knowledge of globally reputed industry or academic experts and have them share with us their wisdom, their experiences with colleagues at SBI and our customers and partner professionals. Unlike many of the other programs that you probably see happening all around you, the focus on SBIL Spotlight is fairly simple, just pure knowledge and experience sharing. So we do not talk a lot about opinions and perspectives here. So we hear many terminologies nowadays: blockchain, cryptocurrencies, data privacy, shape of recovery, multi-experience, industry 4.0, and so on. What do these terms really mean? And are they really of consequence to us as organizations, as leaders, as individuals? Can they, for example, better equip us to handle change and positively impact customer outcomes? What may be the challenges of implementing these, and how is the experiential journey? So the spotlight sessions work as knowledge capsules for leaders, simplifying these terminologies for us and quickly bringing us up to speed with concepts and ideas that are shaping life around us. Today's topic is blockchain and the future of commerce. Deliberating on the topic and sharing their experiences today are two experts, Mr. Sonny George, advisor, strategy and digital banking at State Bank of India, very, very senior leader within the State Bank Group, and Ms. Achal Thakur, a fintech and regulations expert with deep subject matter expertise in blockchain. I will now request our General Manager and Director of SBIL, Mr. Saroj Kumar Patnaik, to welcome the two speakers and to open the program. However, just a few words about Mr. Patnaik himself. For those of you who may not know him, I'm aware that many of you are from the bank, so you will probably have interacted with him at some point of time. Mr. Patnaik joined the State Bank of India in 1987 as a probationary officer. He has served as Chief Manager Human Resources, Chief Manager Learning and Development, Regional Manager Circle Development Officer, Ahmedabad Circle, and Deputy General Manager Business and Operations, Vadodara, Ahmedabad Circle, before he assumed the charge as General Manager and Director at State Bank Institute of Leadership. He has rich experience in the area of retail, human resources, and operations, as well as very deep understanding of the bank's training system. He's also a law graduate from Delhi University, has done his MBA in HR, and is also a certified associate of the Indian Institute of Banking and Finance. Sir, over to you.
Thank you, Madam Swati. This is another feather in the cap because this SBIL Spotlight is your creation, and we have taken it forward. And now this is gaining ground because the moment I see the participants and the way it has been connected with YouTube and Facebook, again, we have found our relevance somewhere down the line. But at the outset, it's a great pleasure to welcome our eminent panelist, Mr. Sonny George, Advisor, Strategy and Digital Banking of SBI, with a long and rich experience in leading digital transformation initiative. I know him from my side. I hope I have not interacted him, but I know what he has done so far, the digital drive of SBI has done. And again, Madam Anchila Thakur, the functional consultant in the banking domain. This is another area, this is third in the series. The first is the understanding of public-private partnership. As you are sharing, the SBI's Spotlight has already been founded with a basic concept of sharing the knowledge. Instead of sharing the perspective and opinion sharing. And who can do the justice than the two eminent panelists right now who are in front of us. As you are sharing, again, I want to reiterate, in the onslaught of this COVID-19, few areas they have taken advantage of this, whether it's a pharma, whether it's agriculture, and there is one more area which has taken advantage, that is the digital space, at the same time the learning space also. And this area, the connectivity, whether it's a domain specific in the small area or the world per se, there hasn't been any restriction whatsoever. Now people can connect with n number of ideas, and the values have been added to this. And this aspect, SBIL as a premier institute of State Bank of India, we have also taken advantage of this. We have also taken advantage. There is a wide spectrum of issues with eminent panelists and different spectrum we have joined. Whether it's impact leadership, when there is a foundation day, whether it's a virtual platform on different domains, or there is a beyond boundaries for international lecture series, that also we have connected. Apart from our own specific virtual program on BAs or faculty development programs or empathetic leadership to empower leadership below, we have gone ahead in different area. And SBIL Spotlight, definitely it is another feather in our cap so far as making ourselves relevant and sustain it during this situation. Here, after this public-private partnership, the first concept of SBIL Spotlight, here the two eminent speakers were there. That was Samla Sukla, Senior PPP Specialist, World Bank of Washington, and Mr. Maurice Diamond, he has also joined. He is also another certified practitioner from London. Similarly, for Future of Work, two IIM alumni, they have also joined. And now the blockchain, now we are for this blockchain and future of commerce. Regarding blockchain, whatever the normal human being or whatever the normal things which is in the public domain is, blockchain is the shared and immutable ledger which takes the process of transactions and tracking both tangible as well as intangible assets in a business network. But how far the virtual tracking of value and trading on blockchain network can take advantage of the present enablers and reduce the risk and cut the cost for all involved, that is to be seen. Technology is gone beyond proportion, and what it is there. So this is also another pertinent and foresighting issues which Madam Swati you have thought of, and now we are in front of these two eminent personalities. Definitely it is going to have a value addition, a lot of takeaways this. And I now request Madam Swati to take it forward and ensure that whatever the thing, proper perspective it is going to be taken forward, that must be definitely be ensured. Thank you very much, Madam Swati. Over to you.
Sir, thank you very much for your inspiring speech at the beginning. We always look forward to this bit. Thank you. Friends, participants, today's format is going to be largely conversational. And we're going to break a little bit from the format that we have done earlier. The reason being, we have received a large number of questions from the participants when you were registering for the program, and I'm hoping that many of you are already there on this call today. So that kind of indicates to us that the timeliness and importance of the topic in the industry. So what we will do is we'll put these questions to the speakers. We will first have Achal talk to us a little bit about the concept of blockchain, what are its components, how does it work. She will also share a little bit about where we are, in terms of blockchain adoption in the country. She has worked on multiple projects, so she's going to bring in that perspective. And then we will move to Mr. Sunny George, who has led, a couple of very large projects within SBI, and he's currently working on several others within the bank. So he will talk about the practical side of things, specific to, with regards to banking. What are the areas in which it can be used? What is the potential of this technology? What has been his experiences and learnings? Are there things that we need to guard against? So these are, some of the topics we're going to be questioning him on. Following that, there are some very generic questions that have come from the participants. If we have time, we will pose those. So stay tuned. I'm hoping that it is going to be, a big learning experience for all of us. So I will first speak to Ms. Achal Thakur. I will share with you her profile first. Achal provides strategic, financial, and legal consulting to organizations in disruptive technologies. She is currently advising a couple of projects in the space of blockchain on their strategy, investments, technology, and operations. She has extensive experience as a functional consultant in the banking domain, making her a well rounded fintech expert and especially in regulations. She is also an ambassador for a couple of international blockchain projects for the Indian market and mentoring few startups in various capacities. She's a chartered accountant by qualification, also a qualified information systems auditor from ICAI. Additionally, she is an agile coach, ERP consultant, and project manager. She speaks and contributes regularly on various forums on regulations around disruptive technologies, use cases, and the regulatory environment around the same. So, Achal, welcome to our program and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Swati. Thanks for having me here.
Yes, I
It's
can see. Wonderful to see you again. Wonderful. All right. So, Achal, lots of interesting questions for you. But the first is, uh, can you explain blockchain to a layman? And why is everyone so excited about it? So, first, talk to us about that.
Yeah, Swati. So, as Mr. Patnaik also explained, the official definition is like it's an open distributed ledger that can record transactions between two parties, and it's in a verifiable and in a permanent manner. But to explain in a layman term, so maybe if you're in your home, if you're making any transactions every and you maintain your budget, if you record it in a notepad, say you're recording every day, whatever expenses, what money is coming in, going out, that information stays with you, but all the family members can have a look at that notepad. Now blockchain gives that copy of that notepad to everyone. So it's I'm talking about public blockchain space. So public blockchain gives a copy of that notepad to everybody, so that no one can back out. I can give you another example. Say you are going to purchase a land, maybe property somewhere, and the parties which might be involved are, you have to go and get a registry done with the stamping authority. You need to make payments, so your bank is also involved in it, and the seller is there, buyer is there. So now everything is done one after the other normally. But if one party backs out, what is the guarantee? Like if you have made payment to the seller, and the seller says, I've not received the payment, there is no proof for you unless you bring the bank statement, show that okay, you have made that payment. But if blockchain is used in such a situation, what happens is all the parties involved in this transaction will have same copy. So once you make payment, that transaction will be recorded. If it is recorded in blockchain, it is open to everyone to see. Everyone has same copy of blockchain on their own system. And if one party tries to tell a lie or back out, then everyone else will say no. We have a copy. It proves that on the smart contract this payment was made automatically as per the terms. This property now belongs to Swati. So blockchain is open and it is immutable. Immutable, when we talk about immutable, means it's permanent. If you try to make any changes in the blockchain, then the other parties or the peers who are actually having a copy of blockchain will know and will have a power to reverse the transaction as well. So that's the reason the benefits that blockchain brings in is a lot of transparency, immutability, and it actually removes the need of having an intermediary in between. So the example that I gave you about that land sale purchase, you needed the bank to give you a statement that this transaction happened. But if blockchain is there, the smart contracts itself uh, performs the role. So you don't need a proof. Everyone has the copy of it automatically. So bank may not be required. You don't need a broker to say this transaction happened. So this is the major benefit. So the benefits are in of public blockchains are being seen in various fields, um, supply chain management in different areas. There are benefits, and that's the reason it's actually becoming a buzzword now. It's still very new, I would say, compared to other technologies like cloud or AI, but it is really gaining a lot of ground.
Wow, that was great. So you're basically saying that there is almost a paradigm shift because of a technology like this, both on account of you talked about immutability, you also spoke about transparency, also perhaps ownership and accountability for the data and transaction, isn't it, for all these stakeholders? So I think,
Yes.
yeah. So where do then cryptocurrencies come in? So we keep hearing, blockchain interspersed with cryptocurrencies. So really, what are cryptocurrencies, and is it possible to have blockchain without cryptocurrencies?
Yes, so Swati, then we'll have to actually discuss about two types of blockchains. There are public blockchains and then there are private blockchains. So public blockchains are what I defined right now, what we were discussing about, where anyone, so public blockchains are also called permissionless blockchains. When you say permissionless, that means anyone who wants to run a node of blockchain or wants to have a copy of that blockchain can just go online, go to the website of, say, for Bitcoin, you have bitcoin.com. You go there, you download the blockchain and you have a copy of blockchain. You can see all the transactions. Ethereum has etherscan. You go there, you can see all the transactions, and anyone can participate without asking for a permission. Anyone who has internet connection can go and participate. That's permissionless blockchain. And then there is a permission blockchain, permissioned in the sense that those are called private blockchains. So most of the organizations need a place where you can keep some information hidden as well. So like SBI won't want to show each and every transaction online to everyone. You can't show a customer balances online. You can't show a lot of things online. So in and also they cannot allow everyone to participate in that their own blockchain. A bank may not want that. So in an organization, if you want to adopt blockchain and you want to keep some secrecy as well, only within the organization you want the participants to be there, then you create a permission blockchain setup in your organization. So Hyperledger is one of the major blockchain in the space of private blockchains. And in that case, what happens is that the admin give permission to the person who wants to participate or wants to have a node of the blockchain, and what roles he can perform, that is given permission by the admin. Now, in case of private blockchains, there is no requirement of a cryptocurrency. It's just like you're running your organization on a distributed ledger. But in case of public blockchain, now in public blockchain, there is no one giving permission. No one is asking you to do anything for the consensus to store that data on your system or to get the transactions recorded on the blockchain. So there is certain amount of processing power which is required for getting the data recorded on the system on the blockchain. Now, to no one will like to participate in something which is not giving you anything, right? So if a private blockchain, you work for an organization, you get paid to do that work. But in a public blockchain space, if everyone is participating, they need to participate for a reason. So, like in Bitcoin blockchain, you need to do a proof of work is the consensus mechanism where you need to do a lot of processing for a transaction to be recorded on the blockchain. So, if that is the case, people who are providing those processing services, in order to give them some incentive to do the same, cryptocurrencies are the digital tokens which they earn for securing the blockchain, for getting the blockchain to run. So it's very important to have validators, to have nodes, and in order to incentivize them, you need some kind of benefit, some kind of token that this is what you get. So right now, like if Bitcoin and Ethereum are the prices are sky high, so these validators, people who are running their nodes, they earn Bitcoin for running the node, for doing the transaction, for committing the transaction on blockchain, and then they can sell those Bitcoins for a price. So that is the incentive. So public blockchains require cryptocurrencies or digital assets to run. Private blockchains don't.
Okay, wow, that's a lot
Yeah.
of information. So thank you very much for that, Achal.
Mhm.
And I remember when we were having this discussion with you for preparation of this call, you were talking about blockchain actually being seen as disruptive, right? So, what are the areas where you think blockchain can actually be? You already given one example. We spoke about the middlemen actually. So, can you give some use cases that you are aware of?
So there are so many industries where blockchain is bringing a lot of change. Um, Land registry is one. So Andhra Pradesh government was started first was first I think to bring their land records on blockchain. Then there are other state governments also who are bringing their land records on blockchain to make it more visible to people, so that right now you have to go somewhere and check who's the owner. You have to find the records for 10 years or earlier owners who were there for a particular property. So if those things are put on blockchain, everyone can see that you don't have to go somewhere. So public blockchain can help there. But there are many other use cases as well. Like Walmart is using blockchain right now for they did their POC in 2017, I think, for tracking and track and trace. So if they are putting any product in their on their shelf, they are adding an element of blockchain where they know from where, from which field that product came, and what all steps happened one after the other, and where it is right now at what stage. So trace solution, why? Because it is immutable, so no one can go and change anything in between. So supply chain has been disrupted by using blockchain. Then there is fintech. New concept which is coming is decentralized financing. So decentralized financing is a concept where it can change the banking space, lending, borrowing, your deposits. If we are able to actually, so it's very niche right now. Many new projects are coming. They're trying to build things so decentralized. Everything they're trying to make decentralized. So if you want to deposit your money, you have to go to bank or maybe do it online. You to deposit the money in bank. With decentralization, you can move your value in terms of tokens. So actually, money. What is money? Money is just value that we create in the system, right? So with crypto, what they're trying to do is they're saying that you record your value not in terms of INR or US dollar. You record it in terms of a crypto like Bitcoin, which we say is digital gold right now, and move it around in the system very easily. Anywhere you can store, wherever you are getting the best return, and not just in India, anywhere in the world. So there are no borders. Cross-border transactions are already disrupted. Swift and ACH. So I'll give you a very recent development which happened. So 2 days back, U.S. Treasury, OCC, which is the largest business banking regulator, they have allowed the U.S. banks to use stable coins or to use public blockchains for conducting transactions. So they can actually conduct transactions using public blockchains, using stable coins, just like they used to do in using Swift or ACH. So if you see, if you transfer money from India to say US, it normally takes 2 to 3 days, even with MoneyGram or any other transfer wise. And the cost of transactions normally comes from 3 to 5% or 7%. But in case you're doing the same using Ethereum or maybe US dollar, the cost reduces immensely. I mean, it can be even 0.1%. It happens within 10 minutes or maybe even 1 minute. So the benefits are a lot. So it is already disrupting this cross-border transaction space. Ripple is one of the major players which is providing their Ripple net to banking providers, banking space, to the financial institutions. I guess I'm not sure whether it is working with SBI yet, but they have more than 300 clients right now in this space, and big clients, not just small, big banking players. So many spaces are being disruptive. Right now in India itself, we have one project which is working on bringing e-invoicing to blockchain and automating the space of e-invoicing, and it is being incubated by STPI in of Haryana, Gurgaon itself. So there are so many use cases which are there. So disruptive in the sense that it is just like we are thinking that we'll have drones delivering things. to our homes and maybe self-driving cars. The same way, blockchain will make can has its capacity to make our many departments defunct. It is possible that tomorrow our electricity department runs on blockchain, and you won't require any official to maintain the electric department. So there are projects running in that space as well.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. It is reminding me of a project one of my students was doing about a couple of years ago, in one of the MBA schools, and she was. You talked about that sourcing and that source tracing, right? So she was
Mhm.
saying when you're buying oranges, for example, in the departmental store, you will know everything from where, which orchard was that orange grown in. Was it in Srinagar? Was
Correct.
it in Nagpur? Was it locally? And so it's going to, yeah, so kind of we can
Mhm.
get a sense of the disruption that is really going to happen. So talking about that, with respect to blockchain and cryptocurrencies, where are we in India? At what stage of adoption are we in India?
So, Swati, I would say Indian adoption has been more on the retail side from the private players. They are doing a lot more. So, Indian startups are doing great work in the space of blockchain. There are many government projects also which are running to, but mostly on the POC stage. See, blockchain is a very niche technology right now. It's a very new technology. It is not tested to that extent. So the moving everything to blockchain right now is not possible to run big projects. But POC stage, many things are happening in India as well. So I told you an example of land records being moved to blockchain, but there are other projects which are going on within banks where they are trying to see whether cross border transactions, KYC is another thing which is a very interesting use case of blockchain. So when you go to SBI, you need to provide your KYC documents. When you go to ICICI Bank, you have to again provide your KYC documents. When you again go to get your gas connection, you have to provide your documents again. So, or using blockchain, it is possible that you provide your documents just once and you're given a token. And wherever you go, if the systems are integrated in a way that you just give your token, and those documents which are once put in the blockchain, anyone can go and check. So the problem of the problem that we have been facing of wrong documents or people creating fake identities can be actually removed. Even certification is moving to blockchain in certain organizations. So there are many players who are working in this space where there are universities who are planning to put the certificates and degrees that they issue on blockchain so that no one can later on claim that they got a fake degree or something. So these are happening, yeah, but I would say that we are still blockchain is being adopted to an extent, but related regarding cryptocurrencies, people have started investing a lot, but we are still lagging a bit because of the regulations which are right now not in place, I would say.
Right. So thank you for sharing that. One last question, I think, just following out from your last sentence before we move to Mr. George. What are the challenges to the adoption in India? Because we are kind of always ahead nowadays, right, in terms of technology. So is the roadblock in terms of technology? Is it regulatory? Is it in our mindsets? Uh,
Uh,
do you see any challenges at all, for example?
So I would say that with regard to regulations, we are lagging behind still. As compared to other geographies globally, I would say there are Singapore, for example, actually has very robust regulatory system available right now. They have defined laws of what is a digital asset, what is a security token, what is a utility token, what is a payments token, how to charge GST on transaction, how to charge income tax on transactions related to digital tokens. But in India, we don't have the definition of crypto assets right now. We don't even have those definitions. So we are lagging behind in those steps. Though there was a news a few days back that there has been a proposal which is submitted to charge GST on cryptocurrencies. But that is still a proposal. So we don't have a law which is there Once the law will come, then we will submit our representations on how it should be done actually. So it is still going to take a lot more time. And that is the reason most of the founders who are in this space, if they're working in the public blockchain space, and they want to raise some funds using ICO, which is similar to IPO in certain, sense, raising funds. They try to move outside India, set up bases outside India, because they don't know how that will be taxed in India right now. So this is, I feel, one of the big roadblock. Otherwise, we have huge population of technically sound people. We have so many engineers who are working in this space, but they really require a lot more clarity on the regulatory aspects. We don't want, no one would like to get into trouble, right?
Yeah, that is true. And especially when you talk about Singapore and India, I keep thinking that I think one of the main things that we need to face is just the sheer scale, isn't it? I mean, look at the
Hmm.
size of the country and look at us. So doing anything in a country of this size will take a lot of thinking first, deliberation, and hopefully all of that is already happening. So thank you very much. We're going to come back to you, Achal, for this. I will now call upon Mr. Sonny George, and I have the privilege of introducing him to our participants here. Mr. George has varied experience in areas like digital transformation, digital banking, core IT, inspection and audit, credit, retail banking during his career spanning more than 3 decades. He has been instrumental in leading and executing the mega merger of SBI and its five associate banks. He's presently leading the major digital transformation initiatives at SBI through its flagship digital banking platform, YONO. So, sir, welcome to you. Sir, are you here?
Yeah. Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, loud and
Yeah.
clear.
Thank
So,
you.
sir, yesterday when we spoke, you spoke about being, bringing the practical side of the event, the practical side of the whole blockchain experience to us. So, sir, first let's talk a little bit about how banks like us, how have we been proactively using blockchain? And can you share a little bit thoughts on that in terms of what are some of the use cases where we have leveraged blockchain? And specifically, you were talking about two projects. One was reconciliation and digital lending. Sir, can you please share some light on that?
First of all, I'd like to thank you and the State Bank Institute of Leadership for inviting me for this. And I would be able to, like, compared to what Anchal, the sort of the expertise that Anchal has brought to this program, mine is more from a practical perspective. Uh, basically, there are a lot of applications for blockchain in banking, as Anchal already explained. There are a huge number of them. But the problem is that it has been said about blockchain that it's a hammer in search of a nail. It's a solution in search of a problem earlier. That was true earlier. Today, a lot of companies have started using blockchain in many fields. And I would specifically talk about two things. The first thing is reconciliation. So if you look at the three characteristics of blockchain or digital distributed ledger technology that Anchal explained already, the three things are shared control, then transparency, and disintermediation. That means using smart contracts, people don't need an intermediary to put through a transaction. Now, this lends itself eminently to the reconciliation problems that we face. If you just take withdrawals at an ATM, so while the large number, more than 95% or 99% would go through without a problem, there are a few cases where a customer faces an issue. Either he does not get the cash, or sometimes he does get the cash, but his account is not debited. So this problem is a typical one that lends itself to building a solution based on blockchain. And so that is what we tried to do a year or so back. where actually all the players involved, like you have multiple players here. You have the ATM, the physical ATM right there. You have the switch, the ATM switch is there. You have core banking, which puts through the transaction in the account of the customer. So if we can build a solution where each of them can update the latest status of a transaction, like if the ATM says that I have the switch says I've passed on the instruction to the ATM to pay the cash, and CBS says that updates the record saying that the account has been debited, but you don't get the information from the ATM that the cash has been disbursed. Then the customer would have the comfort of knowing immediately that this problem that he has faced at the ATM has been recognized suitably, and action is being initiated. Today the whole thing is more or less offline, where it takes a few hours for getting a response that what happened, what actually happened, and even the regulator permits a certain number of 1 or 2 days for actually rectifying the situation. So this is this if you put this on blockchain, you can have real-time updates going out to the customer saying what has happened, what is the remediation that is being put in place, and when does he get his money back in the account. So this is one use case. There are many like this in reconciliation. Like for example, if you look at swiping a card at a POS machine, okay. So while the number of failures may be very small, the person who is affected would definitely like to have a faster resolution. The bigger the application as far as banks are concerned is in the area of collateralization. So if today, already I think Anchal spoke about how some states are putting in a process where land records are maintained on a blockchain. And obviously there are huge advantages. There would be huge advantages not only for the customer or the people who buy and sell, but also for banks, because if you can register your charge there on that, and anyone else, if suppose somebody is trying to lend again against that property, there would be a real-time feedback available to the next bank or somebody else who is trying to lend. So this is something where there is huge potential. And the third thing is I think Anchal already referred to the traceability part. And this is where we are developed with a new product, and which I would like to talk about. Now, traceability is very important, especially when about two things. One is about the food that we are eating, okay, and the other thing is about the products that we consume. Now, especially in the Western world, and even increasingly so in India and the other parts of the world, customers are really concerned about what they are using, what are they wearing, what are they eating. And there are companies which have already done a lot of work in this space. And like for example, there's a textile company which actually procures cotton from a large number of farmers, and they are encouraged to do organic farming. So the cotton that is procured, the raw cotton that is procured, is ginned and processed into threads, and then this is used in weaving the textile, which is used for which is cut into and designed into dresses. And these dresses may actually find their place in some store either in India or abroad. And by just scanning a barcode, the user is able to find out who is the farmer who has actually produced this cotton, and who are the people who have worked in the intermediate stages who have worked on this. So that traceability is a very important thing. That's not only for cotton; it's also for diamonds mined in Africa. So there's a lot of sensitivity about this, and companies have worked into providing solutions on recording these events on blockchain. As a bank, we are interested only in one of the byproducts of this, the data that is available. So if the company has information on what a farmer is growing, and if you have the history of, say, the last 5 years, so what has he grown? What is the what is the extent of land that he is used for growing this? What is his output every year? What has he got back from the company who has paid money to the farmer for this cotton that he has produced or any other agricultural produce, then can we use this for giving a loan against that? Obviously, yes, this is a very great use case for that. So what we are doing is, as customers and consumers living in an urban scenario, we are used to pre-approved loans. Okay, that's the most popular thing today. We are designing a pre-approved loan for a farmer, where we would take data from such companies and we would run it through a credit engine and actually approve him for a loan, so that it's very critical for a farmer that the time spent in getting a loan is reduced, because otherwise he has to spend quite a lot of time in getting this loan processed. We are now in a position to offer this in a pre-approved form. So this is one of the things that we have done in the digital lending space, where we are actually using blockchain for getting the data and pre-approving a farmer.
Thank you, sir. So that is very, very interesting and sounds very proactive as well. Sir, you spoke a little bit about, the example of cotton, and you spoke about diamonds and things like that. How can banks leverage blockchain to facilitate digital lending opportunities in under-penetrated banking segments, like small businesses and remote rural and agricultural communities? So basically, I think a continuation of what you were already saying there.
So obviously, this would be one of the ways to do it. And I mentioned about how collateralization can really help. We are talking about collateralization of land records. Okay, I mean, recording of land records on blockchain. But suppose you could have this information stored not only in respect of land, but also in respect of livestock, like in terms of machinery that is used on the farms. Suppose we can have this for warehoused goods. Okay, even payments owed to a farmer, okay, by pledging produce. Okay, and all this could be used as inputs for lending decisions. Today banks are working in a more of, they are relying more on physical evidence for all this, which cannot be scaled. It's very difficult to scale these sort of operations which rely on physical operations. If you had this information in a digital format, which is easily accessible to the banks, then this could definitely help banks to lend more in these areas, especially in the remote locations. And so this creating records or digital records of assets on a distributed ledger.
From what I could understand from you, when you spoke about, us interfacing these to impact customer outcomes, especially in digital lending, one of the thoughts that come to my mind is that not everything needs to be done at the bank end. There's a lot that needs to be done even at the producer supplier end. So, sir, what has been your key learnings and experiences when you were, doing the two key projects and, of course, subsequent projects as well? What challenges did you encounter, and what are the things you should advise banks to guard against? What are some of the key risks that we should be aware of when we are planning a technology initiative like blockchain?
So again, totally from a very from a very from a practitioner's point of view, and we are not even very heavily into blockchain. Absolutely. But from whatever we have done, I think there are two key challenges here, okay, that banks have to face. The first one is the strategic, the challenge or the strategic risk that you are taking. Whether you have to decide, a bank would have to decide whether you want to be a leader in adopting this technology, or would you wait for some time till the technology matures. So this is something that that's a call that banks have to take. So there are some areas where this has already, the technology is already matured, like in payments or cross-border transfer of funds. Like we have already done, I think one of our subsidiaries have done this for payments to Nepal. so remittances to Nepal or from Nepal to India. Okay, so these are obviously this is a no-brainer. There are other areas like, for example, in trade finance or invoice financing. So the use cases are pretty mature and already people have implemented very large projects in this area. But if you really want to do something, uh, when you're venturing into something new, like are you going to lend on the basis of this sort of information? So building that, building the basic infrastructure for that is something that banks have to work in. The second risk or the challenge I would state here is in terms of scalability. Okay, when you're a large bank, can this really scale up to your level of operations? That is something that we have to find. While there could be projections of how this scaling up would happen, technologically, whether it would scale up to meet our very large volumes is something we would actually uh, know only as we progress ahead. So that is, in my opinion, these are the two major challenges or.
Thank you, sir. So I think you have brought very interesting, perspectives from the practical, hands-on experience perspective. So thank you very much for that. So now I will move on to some of the questions that have come in, and I'll probably also go and take a look at the chat box. Either of you can answer, but more from a regulatory perspective, Achal, I think this one would be for you. Is blockchain legally valid technology? Is cryptocurrency legally valid currency? So these are questions that have come from our participants.
Yeah, sure. So blockchain for sure is it has been endorsed by our PM himself in the previous events that have happened, and even our various STPIs and various schemes. So there are blockchain incubators in various states of India. So blockchain for sure is legally there. It's a technology which is growing and has got adoption in India. For cryptocurrencies, it is not illegal, it is not defined. There has been no definition which says that this is something which you should not use or anything. There was one RBI had put a banking ban, which was quashed by Supreme Court in March of 2020. So after that, even cryptocurrency transactions in India, in all the exchanges, have grown by at least 8 times. So I would, to give you an example, some of the exchanges are doing more than 100 crores in transaction on a daily basis. So you can't have such big transactions for something which is illegal. So it's not illegal in any way. It's just that we need them to be defined properly. Currently, this particular industry is self-regulated, and based on the nature of transactions, we are also advising our clients how to make payments for the taxes. For the exchanges, they are also paying GST based on the nature of transactions. So it's not illegal in any way. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And another question that has come in is some of the foreign banks are already using blockchain technology on a wider scale. Will this new technology totally disrupt our present banking system in some of the areas like payments? I know that you touched upon it, and I think Mr. George also talked about it. But specifically for banking, what kind of a disruption are we looking at? Archil?
Okay. Yeah. So from banking, cross-border payments it is already disruptive. I mean, it is already being picked up for every bank now. Banks are getting different in different geographies. I would say different things have already happened. Like in US, the financial institutions have been given authority to hold or take cryptocurrencies in their custody, which is a new field for them. As I told, that banking regulator has also allowed usage of stable coins or public blockchains for cross-border transactions. So that is already happening. See what DeFi can do, decentralized financing. It is too young to actually say. It actually gained a lot of interest in 2019 only. But if it succeeds, if decentralized financing succeeds, then peer-to-peer lending, peer-to-peer transactions, peer-to-peer, and I'm not talking about peer-to-peer transactions within the country or within the borders, or I mean within any borders. It will be all global. So the disruption which can happen is right now. If I have to take a loan, I go to an Indian bank and I take a loan. I maybe give a security, but if DeFi succeeds, then tomorrow I can take a loan from someone, some protocol which is being developed in Switzerland, and I might actually be using the funds which were deposited by someone in Dubai. So the disruption that it can bring to the space of banking is that it can actually create a very different system altogether. It can, but it has not happened till now. This is something which is very new, to be very frank. Yeah.
Yeah, so we are kind of toying with the art of the possible here. Good to know what is possible and what is not possible. A couple of quick questions. I know we are running a little short on time. Very interesting question here. So this is regarding energy consumption, and Achal, this is for you. So presently, all cryptocurrency transactions are only a small fraction of all financial transactions, yet their mining consumes progressively more energy than before. How will this be managed if the entire financial system moves to blockchain type distributed ledger system?
Yes. So that this is actually very relevant and important question. So for Bitcoin, proof of work, a lot of energy is required for running those systems which are going to come. I mean, commit the transactions on the blockchain. But that is only one blockchain proof of work. Most of the blockchains are now moving from proof of work to proof of stake. So proof of stake is a consensus mechanism where if someone wants to participate in the blockchain to earn the rewards, then they can put a certain amount of tokens in the system, as and say that okay, commit to that amount, and then they are given powers, or you can say voting rights on the blockchain to that percentage, and that is another way of doing consensus. So most of the blockchains are moving from proof of work to proof of stake, and there is another consensus mechanism which is delegated proof of stake. So that consumes a lot less power. It is much cheaper as compared to proof of work, because you don't actually run the systems. Your system just has to be on. You don't need all those powerful ASIC chips to run the proof of work mechanism. So if the whole system actually moves, or the financial system tries to move to public blockchains, it will be mostly be running on proof of stake. Or there are other consensus mechanisms also which are lesser known right now, which don't use any power at all. There and I know even about a blockchain which is using no power at all, using your mobile phones, your so it's not known to many people. But yes, what they've done is they've combined IoT with blockchain, and whatever system, so even if you have a Bluetooth, the blockchain runs. So the power usage is reducing day by day, because innovation is happening a lot in this space. Every day we hear about new innovation which has happened.
Yeah, thank you very much. And one final question before I ask both of you in terms of where you think blockchain may go. Just before that, one question here, Achal, if you would like to address, is while a blockchain is envisaged to be more secure than typical financial transactions, I think you spoke about the transparency. Will it be able to safeguard privacy? Will it not be easier to hack into, not just to alter or manipulate it, but to extract valuable data? Even data that is supposed to be private. And I think this is especially important. In fact, our next spotlight session is going to be on data privacy. So I thought it is important to get your views on this.
Actually, I would say, see, the blockchains which are untested or new, you can might be hack them. But Bitcoin blockchain, Ethereum blockchain, they have been tried to be hacked for last 10, 12 years. They have been there for that time. So there is no way to hack Bitcoin blockchain. Till now, no one knows about any hacking that can happen in the blockchain. The hacks that happen right now are uh, in the servers of some centralized system. So say maybe someone is if you have a public blockchain address, you have a private key as well, and that private key you have to store very safely. Maybe not even online, you should keep it offline only. Maybe put it down on a pen and paper and write it down. But many times they are difficult right now, they're difficult to note down. People store them online, and they store it maybe on their system, on their emails, and those systems can be hacked. So Bitcoin blockchain has been, it has been tested by, for the last 12 years, they've been trying to hack. No one has been able to hack the blockchain itself. It is the other systems where you store your private keys. It is the cryptocurrency exchanges which might have vulnerabilities. It might be that you bought your hardware wallet from someone and gave your information to them, and their systems might be prone to hacking. It's not the blockchain which can be hacked, it's the systems where you store your data afterwards. The private key, which is the key to get into the blockchain, is what you should keep very safe. If you are able to keep your private key safe, then there is no risk of any kind of hacking, till now at least. Unless we have quantum computing coming in and which can break a blockchain, till then it is at least very safe.
All right, thank you. So we are kind of almost out of time. One last very open question to both of you. So now, what's next? I mean, Achal, first I'll probably ask you. You spoke about a lot of these startups getting into blockchain, and where do you see blockchain really? In term, let's talk about India primarily, and subsequent to that, Mr. George, if you can share, we as the biggest bank in the country, we are already on the technology, right? And we're probably showing the way to the rest of the BFSI industry. Will you be continuing to evaluate blockchain for your future projects? So that is what we would request you to answer. But first, Achal, would you want to share your thoughts?
So, Swati, I would say that India India is following the developments which are happening globally. And globally, I see a lot of things happening in the space of blockchain where, if I just talk about UAE, they have set a timeline of 2023 and 2025 to move most of their public utilities on blockchain. So if it happens in UAE, and then other countries also start following, India will also be probably thinking about moving their public utilities to blockchain. So things are moving in the direction of bringing more transparency and to reduce the middlemen. So I'm very sure that there will be more and more adoption of blockchain. But since it is a very new technology, like I would say, something which was started in 2008 and Ethereum came in 2014. So it's not something which has been tested that much. There are so many concerns which are there, like one question that we had about the power consumption. So you can't use Bitcoin blockchain for huge transactions. For a lot number of transactions, you need new blockchains which might be faster, which might use less consume less energy. So it is going to take time for these things to evolve for bigger. So SBI is a very, very big organization, so they have such huge systems. For SBI to adopt blockchain, they will start small only. They need surety that the thing is properly tried and tested. Similar way, other organizations will also start picking it up in a small manner, because this is a new technology which needs to be tried and tested, and then we can actually move our whole system to blockchain. But yes, I would say in the next 10 to 20, 15 years, we'll see a lot more adoption of blockchain, even in India. And
Wonderful, thank you. Yeah, sorry, please finish.
that's just my view, my view of the
Okay.
things. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Mr. George, what are your views?
Yeah, so I would also say, I would like today, the the biggest changes are happening in the lending space. Okay, we have fintechs and startups which are lending to logistic operators based on fast tag information. It's no longer your balance sheet or your profit and loss statement that's going to get you a loan. It's information it's peripheral information like this that is increasingly being used. So you ask me, are we going to evaluate use of blockchain? I don't think that we need to evaluate that, because we need increasingly to use these solutions for especially in two areas. One is lending, obviously, and also in payments and in remittances. So there would be huge applications here where the bank is already working in one area. There's the lending space, and partially also in remittances. We would definitely be using more and more the technology of blockchain for more and more use cases like this.
Great. So thank you very much, both of you. It has really been, it's always very short. We always find that. And I wish there was, if we had another couple of hours, I'm sure we could have gained much more experience from you. Achal, both from your expertise with working with other enterprises, and of course, Mr. George from working within the SBI, frame, and a lot of experiences there as well. So with that, we come to the end of the program. What I would want to do, Director Sir, do you want to share a few words?
Actually, I was listening very aptly in the sense because this one session is not going to complete whatever the ideas and thought, because the way the things are unfolding, blockchain has got a huge implications, and definitely it will come in a big way. But one thing I'd like to share, what our esteemed chairman has shared in the new year is, because this newest technology as well as the innovations and matching with our requirements is going to be a huge challenge as well as an opportunity. If this is the challenges, the chairman's new year message is, he has spoken the need to readjust our narrative to match the magnitude of challenges. And this kind of challenges are going to create with the new age technology. We are going to definitely take forward. And regarding the blockchain, what I suggest to Madam Swati, in the future also try to update and take it forward in SBIL Spotlight. And at the same time, I'm really thankful to Madam Anchal and Sonija sir to share their views and the future perspective on this, because this is something very relevant and it is going to take it forward. And as Madam was saying, innovation is always happening every day, every seconds, every minute. And this pandemic has unfolded so many things. It is going to really take it forward. That much can be shared of. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam, you are unmuted.
Yeah, sorry. I would like to end. Thank you very much, sir. I would like to end this program with a vote of thanks. Very big thanks, heartfelt thanks to both our esteemed speakers for taking time out of their tight schedules today. I know what we have gone through over the last 2-3 days, and with a couple of you, actually much more than that, trying to put this together. The challenge is not always. The shorter the event, the more challenging it is to try and make sure that it is extremely tight and of value to our participants. And I am very hopeful that our participants have gained a lot of value from this. Both of you have been amazingly supportive. My thanks also reaches out to Mr. George's office, who have been very, very responsive in responding to our mails and calls so promptly. So thank you, both of you. I would like to also thank our attendees who keep turning out in large numbers, our customers, business partners, the whole SBI community. You have been amazingly supportive. Please stay beside us all the time. There are many more of these events that are going to be coming up, and we hope to have you by our side. A big shout out to all those who are new to SBIL who have joined the call. Thank you for making time to attend this event. As I mentioned right in the beginning, these events are available on SBI's YouTube and Facebook channels. So in case you have missed any one of them, not just from SBIL, from other institutes as well, you can log in there and there's a lot of knowledge that you will probably gain from there. Finally, a big thanks to the director of SBIL for his unstinting support, our dean, our DGM admin, who has, he kind of runs from pillar to post, trying to maintain, make sure that everything works like clockwork. So thank you, sir, very much. All faculty and admin, marketing, especially the IT teams of SBIL, who again do a lot to ensure that the event is broadcast very smoothly. Thank you very much once again from the bottom of my heart. That brings us to the end of this session. Take care, everyone. Once again, have a happy new year. Be healthy, be safe, and see you again soon. Thank you from my side. Bye.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you.